Hello, this is Amy with Toolbox Tarot, and I'm here to do a tarot reading for Monday, November 5th through Sunday, November 11th. And I'm using the Slow Holler deck for this week's reading. Before I get started, I wanted to just say there was a message released from Plum Village, which is the a place that Thich Nhat Hanh created. And the message this week was that he has decided to go home to Vietnam to spend his last days and months, however long he has left on this planet, in the place of his birth and in the temple that he went to as a young monk. And it's some other things I've been thinking about this week, just about how important it is to me right now to focus on being really heart-centered. And part of the way that I do that, I learned through, my admiration for Thich Nhat Hanh. And one of the most important lessons that I learned from him was to recognize yourself as a dear one first. And so a lot of times when I'm meditating, I say dear one to myself. And I also, like, whoever it is that is watching and listening to the tarot podcast, I just want you to know that you are also a dear one and that you're dear to me. So, dear ones, this is a reading for November 5th through November 11th. And we'll choose 3 cards and get started. This one. The Storm. Oh my gosh, that's the same as the Tower that we got last week. Goodness, they're coming off. And, oops, this one's upside down, but I don't do reversals. And the 8 of Vessels. Interesting. Okay. Well, I think the only one that we haven't had recently is this one. So the Slow Holler people use a different, it's a non-gendered deck, and they've made some also new names for the suits that aren't too far off from the names that we usually use, but branches are wands and vessels are cups. So, this again is talking about that big change. It was at the center of the story that I told last week when I pulled the 3 cards. In this position, this week it's in the first position. So, the Storm, or the Tower, talks about leveling something that is torn down, that seemed permanent, felt permanent, that is not permanent. An understanding that was central to our lives, or a job that seemed like this is what life is like, or a relationship. Something is shaken. Something is gone. I have political thoughts when I think about that, but let's keep moving. 7 of Branches. I love this depiction of this card. The 7 of Branches is about standing up for what matters to you, fighting with tooth and bone. This is like a petrified wood. This is strength and fortifying and just your willingness to fight with everything that you have for what is important to you. And then the Eight of Cups is about walking away from something that looks perfectly good, looking beyond what it is that we have that from the outside might look like you have everything. It looks like from the outside like you have everything maybe, but you know it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel right. The cups or the vessels are about your feelings and your intuition. And in this card, your intuition is telling you that no matter what it looks like, it isn't right for you. And so you're turning your back on a situation and walking away from it into the unknown, not knowing what waits for you, but believing that it's necessary to turn away from what is, because you know that it isn't enough or it isn't right for you. And you're not necessarily going to get a lot of support. A lot of times you're walking away from support. All of these beautiful cups that are all laid out, or these bottles in this picture. Yeah, forget what the card usually looks like. Let's look at these particular pictures. So, we've got the storm or the tower, Seven of Branches, and the Eight of Vessels. I have my own ideas about this. It doesn't seem, for me, this isn't a personal reading, it's a political reading. But for you, it might be a personal reading. I think a lot of times when I do these readings, I don't make it personal. I am definitely doing an external thing. And for me, maybe making it political is as close as I can get to personal while I'm doing a reading. But sure would be interested to hear what you're getting out of this. And I appreciate your time, and I hope that you have a great week, and I'll talk to you next week. Take care.